This is a stimulus update and daily news report. The Senate officially passed the bipartisan infrastructure package. This time it was official, not a test vote, not a procedural vote, but they officially passed it. The next step is for the House to vote on it, and in order for the House to vote on it, they have to get back from their 7-week vacation, and there is a date of when they're scheduled to be back. I'll give you more details on that. Right after the voting of the bipartisan infrastructure package, they had a vote on the $3.5 trillion human infrastructure package. It didn't pass because it's a different type of bill, so it was just approved. I'll give you more details on that. The big question though is what's going on with a fourth stimulus check. It was not included in that human infrastructure bill. The question is, can it still be added in later on? I'll answer that question later on in the video. Also, there are 2 new cities giving out a guaranteed income, part of a universal basic income program. One city is giving out $300 per month, another one is giving out $500 per month and taking applications. I'll give you those details and then I'll answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. If you appreciate these fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. So, vaccine passports are gaining traction as Delta variant threatens travel rebound. So what happened here is a new survey found that 81.8% of Americans support the idea of vaccine passports, digital or physical proof of vaccination against COVID. So what's going on in New York City, there's vaccine passports in order to get into gyms, bars, restaurants, basically any indoor activity. In terms of travel, a lot of countries are requiring vaccine passports, but it seems that other cities are starting to adopt vaccine passports or ban vaccine passports. A lot of changes are happening, especially because of the Delta variant surge. Next, let's talk about this big passing of the $1 trillion infrastructure bill, handing Biden a bipartisan win. So the Senate passes massive infrastructure package that is the centerpiece of the Biden agenda. Legislation faces hurdles in the House before it can be voted, before it can be sent to Biden's desk and cement a major bipartisan achievement, meaning that this is just one step. Even though I took you through the whole process, all the procedural votes, the writing, which was drawn out way too long, this is still the first step. When it comes to the House, they could still not agree on things, they could still amend it, they could still change it, which can make this an even more long drawn out process. Here's a video explaining more about that and what happened with the vote.
Madam President.
Majority Leader.
Order.
The Senate will be in order, please.
And once again, congratulations to all of those who worked hard, so hard on this very significant and very important bill. And now we proceed to the second track. So, Madam President, I move to proceed to calendar number 122, Senate S. Conres 14, the concurrent resolution on the budget, and I ask for the yeas and nays.
Is there a sufficient second? There is. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Baldwin. Mr. Barrasso. Mr. Bennett. Do you want to go? Mrs. Blackburn. Mr. Blumenthal.
Okay. Vice President
Mr.
Harris
Blunt.
now presiding. Garrett Haake, let me come back to you for a moment. For folks who are watching at home or listening on their Sirius satellite radios, explain what we're seeing right now. Walk us through this sausage making.
So here's what we just saw. The vote just ended on the bipartisan infrastructure bill. It passed the Senate. The count still needs to be finalized. Our rough count was 19 Republicans in favor, along with all Democrats voting in favor. That passed. You saw Kamala Harris there gaveling that down. Then Leader Schumer moved immediately to bring up the first vote in this process of passing that $3.5 trillion bill that will be Democrats only. This vote is also Democrats only, or it can and most certainly will be. Needs just a 50-vote threshold to get started. This is called a motion to proceed, to get started on debating that budget resolution. So part of the reason Harris is in the chair is the possibility that she would have had to break a 50-50 tie. But of course, we are down one Republican senator today. Mike Rounds of South Dakota is with his wife, who's receiving cancer treatment, so he could not be here today. That likely means Harris's role today will be purely ceremonial. She should not have to cast any tie-breaking vote.
After the big vote, Biden praises McConnell for helping pass $1 trillion infrastructure bill, which is kind of funny, you know, since they're kind of butting heads a lot. What President Biden said is, today we prove that democracy can still work and there's more work to do. But I want to thank Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell for supporting this bill, and I want to give a special thanks to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. Your leadership, Chuck, in the Senate was masterful. So gave a shout out to Mitch McConnell, which I think is pretty good, especially Republican, and President Biden is a Democrat. So I like to see Democrats and Republicans work together in some form. Next, now the next step for this is that Pelosi needs to move on the bipartisan package, which means that they need to get back from their 7-week vacation. The House left last week, left the mess of the bipartisan package up to the Senate. They got it done. What's the majority leader in the House, Steny Hoyer, said in a letter that lawmakers in the House chamber will return to session on August 23rd to consider the larger Democratic package, assuming Senate adoption this week. So he sent that letter August 23rd. They're not supposed to come back until September 20th. So this is definitely cutting their vacation short, and to have this vote on that. Also, in the second track, basically, this was a surprise here. I didn't expect it to happen so fast. But as soon as the vote happened in the Senate for the bipartisan infrastructure package, Chuck Schumer just went in right away, as I showed you in that clip before, and Senate approves framework of $3.5 trillion budget plan that would expand Medicare, tax credits, and climate initiatives. So that was approved. I wouldn't say passed because it's going to go through the reconciliation process, but now it's open for debate. Even though it's going to be a Democrat-only thing, Republicans can still try to add amendments, try to change things, have debates. For example, here is a debate between Bernie Sanders and Barrasso, Senator Barrasso from Wyoming, talking about this reconciliation bill, going back and forth. Then we'll talk about the fourth stimulus check after.
There will now be 2 minutes of debate, equally divided.
Madam President, I'm offering this amendment to spare the country from the so-called Green New Deal. The Green New Deal is not about protecting the environment. It's about making big government even bigger. This socialist scheme would destroy jobs. It will reduce the quality of life for the American people. Millions and millions of Americans will suffer. It would worsen already high inflation. It will drive a stake through the economy and eventually bankrupt the nation. Senate Democrats have made it clear that they want to use this reckless tax and spending spree to implement the Green New Deal. Just last night, Senator Markey of Massachusetts made this statement. He says, without question, the Green New Deal is in the DNA of this budget resolution. Let me repeat, he said without question the Green New Deal is in the DNA of this budget resolution. Instead of raising costs on energy, we should be working to lower the cost of alternative technologies and fuels through innovation, not taxation and regulation. So I would encourage a yes vote on the Barrasso amendment and reject the job-killing Green New Deal.
Madam President.
The senator from Vermont.
Mr. Barrasso's amendment is interesting when he talks about the Green New Deal. The only problem is what he's talking about has nothing to do with the Green New Deal. Despite what Senator Barrasso says, the Green New Deal would not ship jobs overseas. In fact, it will create millions of good-paying jobs in the United States of America. It will not raise electricity prices. It will not make the United States dependent on dirty sources of energy from other countries. In case the senator from Wyoming has missed it, Oregon is burning. California is burning. Greece is burning. There is a drought hitting virtually every country on Earth. Newsflash, climate change is real, and the United States and other countries have got to address it. Madam President, as a supporter of the Green New Deal, I have no problem voting for this amendment because it has nothing to do with the Green New Deal.
So what do you think about what Bernie Sanders said, what Senator Barrasso said? What do you think about climate change? We haven't really spoken much about that. It's kind of a politically divisive issue. What are your thoughts on climate change in general? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Next, let's talk about a fourth stimulus check. Is another relief payment on the horizon? As usual, I like to be honest with you. I keep it real. I don't want to mislead you or misguide you, but there is no fourth stimulus check in that reconciliation bill, the human infrastructure. We've been waiting for a while to see the bill text. We've seen a lot of politicians call for a fourth stimulus check, but it was not in there. Does it mean that it won't be in there in the future? No, I think there is still a possibility, but honestly, the chances of it are slim. It should have been added in already, but since it is a Democrat-only process, they could add in whatever they want. They could add in a fourth stimulus check. They could add in the $200 per month Social Security increase. They could add in student loan forgiveness. They could add in whatever they want, but will they? That's the big question. This is going to be a long, drawn-out process. A lot of changes are going to be made to this $3.5 trillion human infrastructure bill. So I'll keep you updated if there is any updates with the fourth stimulus check, and I'll give you some other updates on other stimulus provisions. Speaking of monthly checks, though, so it looks like Tacoma, Washington seeks applicants for $500 monthly guaranteed income program. So this is the newest universal basic income guaranteed income program. It's going to give out $500 checks for a year and is seeking applicants in Tacoma, Washington with the zip codes in the certain parts of Tacoma. And it's for any family of 4 that makes less than $53,000 a year. Also, another place that's doing a guaranteed income program, 100 Sacramento County families are part of a new guaranteed income program. So Sacramento, California, what this is doing is it's going to pay 100 families that have been selected to receive $300 per month for the next 2 years, no strings attached. So these are popping up in a lot of different cities and counties and states around the country. California is the first state where it's going to be statewide, so a lot of different cities are going to start doing that. There's a lot of other places too. In terms of also guaranteed income, I mentioned this last week. Ilhan Omar backs guaranteed income pitches bills to send $1,200 monthly checks to most Americans. So this was introduced into Congress, but as I mentioned before, the House is on their 7-week vacation, not expected to come back until September 20th, but they're going to come back August 23rd to have the vote. So this type of bill is just going to be sitting there until they get back in session. Keep you updated if there's any changes to that. Next, I'll answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Mark Metcalf asks, I'm middle class, where is the help for me and my family? So there are still a few programs. The the rental assistance is still available even though it's slow to go out. Mortgage assistance is still available. Child tax credits, if you're a family, there's child tax credits. Unfortunately, that general fourth stimulus check has not been added or even mentioned about being added yet. Next question, Janice Lewis, we still have to pay the loan, right? So yeah, in yesterday's video I mentioned about the student loan forgiveness and student loan extension. You do have to still pay that loan back even though the payments are frozen and no interest is accumulated. You do have to pay it back. Next question, Matt Hill asks, do you know if there is any hazard pay for truckers who work throughout the pandemic? So hazard pay was spoken about for a good while, like the first 6 months of the pandemic, and then once things started to open up again, hazard pay just kind of fizzled out. It wasn't really mentioned, but now hazard pay is starting to become another topic of discussion because of the Delta variant and the surge and people being exposed and all that type of stuff. So at this point though, to answer your question, there is no hazard pay for truckers at this moment. It's kind of a company by company, state by state basis. Anyways, that is all the stimulus news I have for you today. To hopefully brighten your day a bit, here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you something that you should do. So every time you make mistakes, you make mistakes and you only have one life. So clean those up and make a new world. And also what you should do is you should always be passionate with what you have. because that next time it won't be there, but still you'll be there. So you guys are great and good and learn by your mistakes. So bye.
Thank you so much for watching. So yesterday we got to do some kayaking in our backyard. We have some water, which is pretty cool. We bought a new kayak and went kayaking, got to explore our neighborhood on a kayak, which was really, really cool. Excited to do more of that. I didn't get a chance to film. I was afraid to bring my phone that it would fall in the water, but I will take some videos hopefully soon on that. If you want to check out any of my other videos, click up here for my other channels or down here for stimulus updates, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.